Hey guys! So this is week 2 of being off grid, and so far we have been tired but pretty content, pretty happy. Our systems have come right along. I think the one thing that's different this year is that instead of making huge efforts to get full showers, which is usually what we do, we have the weed sprayer, the unused weed sprayer that we use for showers, and this year we have actually found a system that works a little bit faster than that. It's a little bit less strenuous to get all put together at night, and it's just, do you remember in antique stores they have the jug that fits inside the big bowl, and it's really pretty and decorative, and grandmas used to have them on their dressers in their guest room. The purpose of that was so that you could pour clean water into the bowl and then wash your face, wash your hands, use a washcloth, and wash the rest of you, and not use very much water. And so we have done something very similar to that. We have a bowl on hand. Let me turn this off. We have a bowl on hand of hot water. We each have a washcloth. And if the water gets dirty, we throw the water into the gray water system. But we just use clean hot water. Hey, busy little house. We use clean hot water. We use a washcloth, and we don't wash our hair doing that, obviously, but we wash the rest of us. And that's the big thing that I changed this year. And mostly the reason we did that instead of using the shower is because we took the plastic down off the deck. And the other reason is that our little weed sprayer that we had been using for water. Hey, umbrella. Who else did we have on? It's hard for me to see it. If you can make it all caps, it's a lot easier for me to read it. And so that's what we have changed. And part of it has been just because some of our equipment broke down. It turns out that when you use that weed sprayer every day for showers, you pretty much have to replace it every year. It only lasts, one season. Hey D Dawn. Hey CO2 Carbon. Hey Grammy Karen. So we have the rocket stove going today. We've had it on most days recently because we've had a lot of rain. And we've been grateful for it because it means that I haven't had to do as much watering. I can get work on other things done. Hey, Backyard Self-Reliance. So it's been nice that it's been raining. When we had a lot of really bright, harsh sunlight, we were getting a little bit worn out with all the work we were trying to get done on the house. And so having it be a little overcast, I feel like we've had as much work done, but it hasn't been as hard on us physically. And so that's been good. We were supposed to paint, but it looks like for the next week we're probably going to have rain, so we're not going to be painting outside. Hey, Wholesome Ruts, how are you? So that's pretty much it. I've been doing a little bit of spinning just for the live shows over on Facebook. What else have we been doing? We haven't really had a lot of crafty type stuff going on. Mostly it's just been hard outside work and collapsing into bed as soon as the sun is down. Let's see, anything else? I need to go in and get the greenhouse repaired so we can plant some things out there. We took apart one hotbed, and it turned out on the inside, this is how it's supposed to work, but I didn't know if it would because I'd never taken one apart. The way it's supposed to work is that everything on the inside is just an enormous compost pile. It just turns into dirt, compost, soil. Hey, Off-Grid Lifestyle, how are you? Nope, you can go finish eating. You cannot come in the live streams. Go finish eating. If you're done eating, you can come down on the floor and do your art. Okay? Thank you. Did you wash your face and your hands? Did you wash your face and your hands? Okay. No, we don't come in the live stream. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh, so I need to go repair the greenhouse so that I can get some tomatoes in there. Oh, I was telling you about what happened with the hotbed. So I had never taken one of my hotbeds apart fully before. I had taken apart the keyhole garden, but it hadn't had very long to marinate. It hadn't been there for very long. This one has been there for 5, almost 6 years in one spot, because it's where it's my first hotbed that it had been in the greenhouse that I built initially. Hey backyard girl, how are you? So we took it apart yesterday, and what we did is we took the lumber that was still good and we rebuilt it about 20 feet away from the first one. It was just in a better spot because we need to paint the house. And so we moved it 20 feet, and then we started digging into it to see what was happening on the inside of the hotbed, and it turns out that the whole thing was just a huge mountain of black compost. No weeds, a little bit of straw, some of the wood. We had put in enormous logs, and we had put in a whole bunch of raw pine boughs, which isn't supposed to be good for compost, but it was full of centipedes and red wriggler worms and regular worms and little roly-polies. It was full of life, and it was the finest, nicest compost I've ever seen. So it was really exciting to rebuild it and see what it had become just all on its own. And we did plant it. We refilled 2 hotbeds with what was in it. We topped them up, put more carbon in, put some fresh manure down to kind of accelerate it a little bit, and then the one that was the oldest, we went ahead and planted into it. So I'm going to be excited to see how long it takes for us to have greens, and so I'm pretty excited about that. That's the big project, but I do need to get out there to the greenhouse and get it repaired. Buckeye girl, hello. So that's pretty much it. We still need to get up into the attic and get it organized, because the girls have been up to pull things out, but I haven't been up to repack everything back down. So that is pretty much the only really untidy place in the house right now. Oh, let's see. It was Delia came. Off-Grid Lifestyle said, I bet that what you plant on it will produce tasty food. Well, I sure hope so. Hey, Little Bits of Heaven Homestead. So Little Bits of Heaven Homestead is my friend in New Mexico who does all these live streams with me. Make sure to go check out her channel, Little Bits of Heaven Homestead. She is that close to 1,000 subscribers so that she can do live streams again. And there is something quite addictive about live streams once you get started, because there's no editing and you can just kind of blah about whatever it is you want to say. And it's out there. Hey, Backyard Self-Reliance. So, trying to think what else. We've moved a lot of compost. We've moved a lot of wood. And we got the new goats out of their fortress of no escape. And we got them out onto pasture finally, so I'm really happy about that. And we figured out a system that is not a tethering system, but is still a mob grazing system, so that they can be on a piece for 2 days and then we can move them without a lot of effort. And we made it with cow panels, so I'm excited to show that to you guys. What are hidden costs you didn't expect for homesteading? So I have been raising livestock and been homesteading most of my life. I got my first ducks and rabbits when I was 18 months old, and I raised my first bum lambs when I was 8 or 9. I bought my first goat when I was 10, got my first horse when I was 10, and then at that point, when I was probably about, I was doing that, and then when I was about 13, we actually moved to our big homestead that my parents did. And so I knew from the get-go that it was expensive. But if you were to ask me what is the biggest, not the thing that surprised me about homesteading, but what is the biggest cost for homesteading, I would say it's animal feed. The animals can be expensive, but you can find good animals that aren't necessarily expensive, and then they pay for themselves. We sell our babies in the spring. like our baby goats, and it pays for hay for the rest of the year. We have, you know, chickens that either lay us eggs or they go into the freezer, so they pay us back. But the biggest money sink that you have, because feed prices go up and down a lot depending on what's happening with the weather, and especially where you have a lot of people moving out to the country right now, a lot of those hay fields are going away. You know, a lot of ours have been turned into subdivisions, and so we're actually having to ship in hay in this area. And if there is good hay to be found, you have to buy it the minute that it's for sale, and you can't and get it undercover and protect it, because it's like gold. Feed is just so expensive. If you can grow your own, that's great, but it's not necessarily cheaper, because you have to have the material or the equipment to be able to harvest it, and the right timing, or you have to pay somebody else to come do it for you, or you can take it in trade. But a lot of times if you're having somebody else cut it for you, it's not real high quality, because they will harvest their own fields before they harvest yours. So but if you have a big enough piece of property to raise all your own feed, then hopefully you have enough hands to help manage it, because a place that is big enough to grow your own feed and your own animals and fruit trees and things like that, it requires a lot of physical hands, a lot of hands-on. Off-Grid said they like when I'm on the live feed because it's like you get to talk to me. I would hope so. Did I just run out of wool? Can you grab my clear plastic container underneath the stairs and hand it to me?
It's a clear
wool
plastic bag.
Yeah, it is. It's a clear plastic bag.
I hand you the whole thing?
Yep, hand me the whole thing and I'll dig some out. So this is what I'm making right now. I'll see if I can show it to you guys. Thank you, honey. That's what it looks like. It's red with little flicks of other colors in it. And you use a drum carder or you use a hackle. You probably can't see the hackle. It's like a really big wool comb. You use a hackle or you use a drum carder to make these, and they're very pretty. Let's see. I can pull out something pretty. All right, what's anybody else saying? The live can be very difficult if you get too hooked on it, at least from a creator point of view, because it's really hard to get everything explained in one take. Like, for instance, I have gobo burdock that I wanted to show you guys, that I have all this gobo burdock, where what you do is you harvest the roots and you can use it like a carrot in stews and in stir fries and things like that, and they are very, very simple to grow.
And you can use them in tea.
No talking in the live stream, please. You can use it for all sorts of things, and they're easy to grow. And I wanted to show you how well it has spread and how happy it is, but I also wanted to show you how I peel it and how I cook with it. But I couldn't do it all in one sitting and make sure that I remembered everything and that I got the right camera angles. So if you only rely on live streams, you're not really giving all the complete information, because it's live. You're having a conversation with people. So my goal is that here eventually I'll get some of my edited videos up so you can see them, and get more of like a full picture of what's going on, rather than getting kind of a partial picture that comes with live streams. So I do feel a little bit of anxiety about not having any live streams up, but I've got so much work to get done that the live streams are the only way that I'm getting any kind of contact out. Hey, babe. My husband is on, Mr. Dirt, and he is being funny.
What did he say?
He said "niet." Somebody asked if I was from Russia, and Dad said "niet," which means no.
Why would they think you were from Russia?
I don't know. Maybe it's my sunburn. Maybe it's my green work shirt. Who knows? All right, so I cannot read any comments. I don't know how to get back to it. I wish you would show us around the little cabin. It looks so pretty this year when you painted and put up the curtains. It does look nice, doesn't it? Right now I have dirty dishes on the table that I have not washed yet, and I'm not going to wash them. I'm going to wait and wash them in the morning when I'm a little more rested. We did work until about 11 o'clock this morning, and then we went to church, and then we came back and got dinner made, got the baby goats fed, checked on the goats, and now we're just in the warm cabin, kind of mellowing out and winding down. Most likely what we'll do is Paige will probably go out and milk here in a few minutes. And then we'll feed the baby goat. Well, I don't know. I guess we fed her. We just fed her, didn't we?
Only her second bottle, though.
I know, but we don't want to give her too much. It'll give her a bellyache.
Yeah.
How about a lot later today?
Maybe. But we don't want to stay up too much later. I bet we would all just fall asleep if we actually went to bed. Then we could be up super early in the morning and get started on work.
Well,
The girls are getting tired of so much work.
Mom,
For sure. What?
can't we skip on the milking tonight?
We cannot skip on the milking tonight, no.
Why not 1:30 more in the morning?
But it would leave the goats very uncomfortable. I need to ask the renters. Oh, my dad's calling. Dad, you always call during live streams. I wanted to be able to answer questions. Jeff said I stopped by and helped Darwin for a couple days. They're great people. Oh, I'm so glad. Isn't it fun to hang out with them? Darwin is the nicest guy. And my dad's trying to call me so he can make plans with me, and I can't pick up because I'm on a live stream and he's going to think I'm ignoring him, but I'm not. The best part about the rocket stove, the reason that Darwin invented it was that we needed a stove that was light enough that we could put it in a building that didn't have a permanent foundation. Mr. Dirt said, Mom is getting tired of so much work too. I am. It's not as bad when it's cool like this, but I go to bed every night super sore. And I think a lot of that has to do with apartment living for the last 6 months. Your muscles atrophy, you're not as strong as you were. And so my whole body is having to get reacclimated to just lifting burdens, wheelbarrowing, using the pitchfork, squatting down to milk. So I feel like I'm in the middle of like a CrossFit class just every single day. It's not that I'm like lactic acid type sore, because I always feel better by morning, but it's just fatigue, muscle fatigue. And it takes some getting used to, especially if you go from doing almost none to doing 10 or 12 hours a day. No, you may not. You may not. And, no. I need you to go out and milk in about an hour, okay? All right, everyone smash the like button. There we go. Okay, what were we saying? What else do we have? Oh, so the nice thing about the rocket stove is that it's super light, but because it's connected to the bench, it means that we can run it in a 12 by 32 tiny house and stay comfortable instead of feeling like we are just burning out. That being said, it's much warmer up in the sleeping attic, and so at night when Kai and I go up to bed, we have to open the window, and we leave it open most of the night, even if it's 30 degrees out there. It's much more comfortable to sleep down here than it is up there, because it'll be perfect temperature down here, and all the heat collects up in the sleeping attic.
but in the morning it's cold.
But in the morning it's colder down here, unless she's sleeping on the pebbles and they stayed warm for longer. But Paige kind of likes to be a little more chilly rather than overheating.
Yeah.
Oh, the video keeps stopping. I'm sorry. Jeff said, I'm hoping to build an aircrete small house. I would like to experiment with that. Mostly I'd really like to experiment with building some animal shelters first. I'm sorry that it's buffering. It's better than the gym when you're staying in the tiny house doing hard physical chores. It's very true. That was awkward lifestyle. Hey, Soggy Bottom Homestead. Yes, it's nice because it's labor that you're working all day long with little breaks in between, and it's slow work. So it doesn't necessarily hit you until you stop moving. And then when you stop moving, it can actually be really overpowering when suddenly, and it's why we haven't been showering, full on showering. We've been doing the washcloth bathing at night is because by the time we come in at night, we are so exhausted we can't see straight. And that's when it's nice to have that pressure cooker that cooks things up really nice and fast, because again, at breakfast I can put beans on and have them soaking, and by the time we're ready to be done for the day, I come in, I rinse the beans off after they've been soaking, I stick them on, I cook them for 15 minutes, and we've got dinner. Bird baths. Yeah, that's probably a good thing to call them.
I didn't fall.
You fell through the floor?
Me too.
That's funny. The girls are feeling the vibration of my spinning wheel through the floor. Oh, I didn't realize you could see in the mirror. Can you guys see that in the mirror you can see me spinning? That's kind of cool. I hadn't noticed. Can you see in the mirror that you can see me? I didn't notice that. Do you ever get land in the Midwest? Did you ever get... Okay, so we really wanted this homestead that was in Tulsa. It was a manufactured home, and they never found the title. They still haven't found the title. They're trying to recreate the title, and that's where we sit. In the end, we couldn't purchase it because they didn't have the title. And so here we are doing all this work and enjoying it, and enjoying sleeping really well at night when Kai doesn't kick too much. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to read it. If you guys can do all caps, it's easier for me to read this from a distance. I wish I could do epic videos right now. I really wish I was doing a whole bunch of really epic, full-on videos. And because I have help from my dad right now, and he's willing to come out and work so hard with me, I have very few minutes in a day that I can sit and edit. I'm taking videos, I'm taking some videos, but I have something like 56 gigabytes worth of video that I have taken that hasn't been edited yet, which is an enormous amount of footage. 56 gigabytes of raw data that I just haven't done anything with. Been watching the, oh, you've been watching it in the mirror. Okay, and I just didn't even know it was there. I know it's hard work, but so meaningful and rewarding at the same time. Well, it is. It's meaningful to me. I hope it's meaningful to the girls. They're having some interesting...
I like it.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
And I help more with the watering this year, don't I? With hauling the water?
Yeah.
I think, Paige, dirty socks in the curtain. Thank you. I think that, what have we done different that the water hauling hasn't been so bad this year?
Not washing clothes so often, and not taking the showers.
We have a lot fewer clothes. This year, we have maybe an eighth of the clothes that we had last year. We have two sets of clothes, one to wear and one to wash. And we have enough underwear and socks to go for 5 days. Where before, we had a week's worth of clothes with everything. Now, our outer clothes, we have 2 sets and just underwear and socks. And it means that we can go without doing laundry for 4 or 5 days. We have done off-grid laundry twice since we've been here. And we've done laundry at other people's places or laundromats twice. Just kind of depending on the weather. If I try to do off-grid laundry when it's raining, we won't have any clothes because we don't have anywhere to dry them. Tubular Guy said, do you have a Berkey filter or other kind? So we are on our own well here. I should have set it up differently so you guys could see me better and not see the words. We have our own well, and we have a hand pump on the well, and that water is clean. In Tulsa, we do have a Berkey filter, but not here.
Yeah, I could really see you in the mirror in that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, huh? And I'm sorry that I can't see the questions better. True said, like the old days, easier to wash. Smart. Yeah, we don't have very many clothes. Last year, we had cut way back on clothes. This year, we cut back even more. And one of the reasons for that was that when we were in Tulsa, every single year, and we were in different apartments, every single year there were bed bugs. And it wasn't like we were bringing them with us anywhere. The minute we leave Tulsa, the bed bugs are gone. So we're not bringing them with us. When we came, though, to Idaho this year, I was really, really concerned that we would bring them with us because they were so nasty in the apartment we were in.
I still have scars.
Some of us have scars from the bites. And, but we didn't, and they didn't come with us. We were really careful in how we packed. But the year before we'd had them, and they didn't come with us either. So it seems to just kind of be a systemic thing in Tulsa. Again, different apartments, same problem in all the apartments. And we had time in other places in between where there were no bed bugs. So it wasn't us. Yeah, and we have some pretty durable clothes. Diatomaceous earth takes care of it. We did use diatomaceous earth in that apartment, and it took care of it somewhat, but we actually couldn't use the rooms that had carpet in them, because what had happened was whoever had been in the house before us had a dog, and the room where the dog had been housed was where the bed bugs were, so we actually couldn't use those rooms, the ones with the carpet, and we wanted really badly not to bring them with us. And so we just packed everything up and diatomaceous earthed everything and burned the place to the ground. No, we didn't do that, but it was unnerving. Hey, honey, dirty socks off, clean bedding. Thank you. No, because you're gonna need to go milk. If you're are you bored?
No, I'm just.
Are you hot?
No, I'm just wanting to lay on the ground.
Okay. It's because they cannot survive above 4,500 feet elevation. I don't know if that's true or not, but we've never brought them with us. But scorched earth, we were really careful about it. All right, Carol said, wow, love the mirror reflecting the work you're doing while you chat. I know, isn't that kind of cool? Jake from Geico said, my brother homeschooled their kids and very seldom had others around their age. A couple of them grew up really sly around others? Shy around others, and they were kids. Oh, my kids are not introverts. My kids, if you ever meet my children, even if they don't know you, they will talk your ear off and tell you every tiny little detail about everything in their lives. I'm missing so many comments. I'm so sorry, guys. Say it again. If I don't see it, it's because it's scrolling through. Truth Free says, just heard lemon eucalyptus keeps mosquitoes away. Rose geranium does deter ticks, and peppermint a lot of pests, and cheapest of essential oils. That is true. It is the cheapest, isn't it? We found in Oklahoma, it didn't seem to matter what we did. We were always getting eaten alive by bugs. And that is the truth. If it wasn't ticks, it was mosquitoes. If it wasn't mosquitoes, it was bed bugs. Mm-hmm. And that was really frustrating because we like to spend all of our time outside. Yeah, somebody, who said that? Somebody said they have 5 kids and they homeschooled and they're all extroverts.
Remember that size of a great tick?
Yep, that was pretty bad. Our horses were the worst though. Dragonfly had several in one of her ears, and we had to get her treated before we left. Yep, they were terrible. I think it's getting dark enough that you're going to want to go milk now. Okay? Stay modest when you get up, please.
If I can even get up.
It's a big deal. Stay modest when you get up, or else I'll have to have you in a different room. Okay? We're all dressed up in our dresses from church, and we're trying to learn modesty. So, look at me. Do not go out and lay on the ground. Do not sit on the ground. You need to crouch so you're not getting your dress dirty. You need to go out and hold the baby goat. Please don't get dirty because you can wear those clothes again. Okay? Paige, you're going to do chai first and bring in the milk and get the bottle ready. And then you're going to go out and do Missy. Kaya, you make sure to hold on to the baby so we're not getting spilled milk. Jeff said you could buy raw land and build an aircrete house. One of the things about getting older, I'm almost 40, and I look at all the effort I put into different homesteads that we've been on, and the effort I put into my parents' homestead back when I was a kid, and I have my doubts about my capacity to do that kind of thing anymore. Right now, what feels really good to me is just maintenance, to actually harvest and have the fruits of homesteading instead of the back-breaking labor of putting a new homestead in. And when working with Darwin, he is always inventing new things, and we've tried to have some new projects, but his mind is so excited about new projects, and as he sees a way to make something better, he gets into it. And so a lot of times the projects just take forever, even though they're better than they would have been. He is an engineer at heart, so as he sees something new and better to make, he'll make that instead of finishing the last thing. And so right now, where he has his Kickstarter he's working on, he's trying to get the shippable rocket stove. He's trying to get the shippable rocket stove finished so that he can fulfill all of his Kickstarter requirements. And we're trying not to get into any new projects, because if he wasn't doing that, yes, we'd probably at this point be working on an aircrete dome or something like that here on our property. It was our intention to do that last year, but then he made the shed out at his in-laws, and it took a long time because sometimes our temperatures and our weather here just don't cooperate. So that's why Darwin has been building his big shop, is so that he has somewhere to pour aircrete where it doesn't matter if it snows in July or hails in August or rains in September and ruins his aircrete. And so that's why they're working in the order they are. And as much as I would like to be able to play with aircrete, I want to be able to play with stuff like that at a very slow pace instead of a fast pace. And right now my pace is just dead slow. I am just tired. And I'm sorry that all the questions scrolled away so I couldn't read it. If Dirtpatch has an affiliate with the builder. For what? What builder? What? What builder, honey? Kingdom said they are late to, or they're tired to. Let's see. Jeff said, well, I also build with aircrete and I'm looking for projects. And are you the guy that he got all the new tools from? Because he talks about you a lot. When we get together, he's talking about all the people that come and bring him cool stuff. But sometimes I have a hard time keeping track because there's a lot of people that bring him stuff. At this point in time, what we're working on is getting the homestead put back together with the renters gone now. Oh, that's what you're talking about, Mr. Dirt. The well pump. Okay, it is, what is it called? The Freedom Pump. If you look up the Freedom Pump, located, I think they're in Ryrie, Idaho. If you look up Freedom Pump and just tell them that Dirtpatcheaven sent you, yes, we do have a deal with the people that made our hand pump to make sure to let people know that they have kits and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's called the Freedom Pump. And we love it. When we're here, it's all we use for water. Am I Amish? No, I am not Amish. Otherwise, I think I'd have my hair covered, right? And we do use some electricity because I do have a computer and a phone, and we do have a fridge in the cabin. We just can't have it plugged in when anything else is plugged in. So I have to unplug the fridge in order to use the vacuum. And I have this tiny little rug that I vacuum, and then we turn it off. We don't have electric lights. I don't have an electric washer. I don't have an electric stove. None of those things. Is my computer made of wood? No, it's not. But it should be. My sewing machine is made of wood. My spinning wheel is made of wood. Pretty much everything else I have is made of wood, but not my computer. Okay, Central Florida Prepper said definitely like y'all set up from your computer, from your videos. Jeff said just help them put together toolboxes and hang up pegboard. They were great people. Oh, so did you go out and get to see their big shop then? I haven't been out. They have come out to see me once, but I haven't been out to see them. Anita said, if the rental house is empty, can you plug in over there and do laundry at the rental house? So, the renters are there for another 2 weeks. Their lease is not, they paid through the end of May. And so, at least another week and a half, they will be there. And they've left their animals here for a little bit while they're trying to set up. That's why Paige is doing all the milking. And probably what I'll do is when we are getting ready to go to see John in Salt Lake City when he flies in, we'll ask the renters to come and do chores for us for a couple days while we're gone. So we've got family reunion stuff like that. But once the renters are actually out, we actually have some work that needs to be done on the inside of the house. We had a little bit of water get into the basement that we need to fix. And we just have some work that needs to be done on the inside, just so that we can have it finished. Whether we live in it or a renter lives in it or we sell it, there's just stuff. After 3 years of having renters, there's just little things that need to be done. So would I do laundry in the house? Probably, if I felt like I was really behind. But it's not really a big deal to do the laundry here off grid, as long as there's no rain and you just have a day that you pick that's all you do is laundry. It's not really that big of a deal. It's more about timing than anything. Speaking of which, I do need to call my dad back. Do you have more than 4-horse carriage? Do I have more than a 4-horse carriage? We only have 2 horses, so it'd be really tricky to do a 4-horse carriage. And the horses are in Tulsa right now, so that would be even trickier. Let's see. I saw questions, but now they're gone. So I'll have to wait for him to scroll back through. Sorry guys, I have to wait till it scrolls through because I cannot reach. That'd be a high-powered carriage. Love your house, thank you. John was out taking care of horses today, and apparently he was saving them from the flies. You could do 2 horses and 2 goats. That's actually one of the projects the girls are working on right now. We have these 2 new goats from Tina over at my Homestead project, or is it My Little Homestead project? It's either My Homestead project or My Little Homestead project. And she gave us back 3 of the goats that are a result of her breeding program. But we started out in the beginning with the same genetics, and so it's really special to me to have these goats. And the girls they've actually been out there wrestling the goats to get harnesses on them made out of baling twine so that they can have a carriage with the goats. But I'm not going to let them do that to the milk goats. It would have to be some wethers, some big wethers, which is the name for a castrated billy goat. Were you able to keep Gunner and Firefly? We do still have them back in Tulsa. If I could have sold them, I would have, just to simplify things. But I was so torn up about it at the time that even when people would call and ask if they could come see the horses, I wouldn't let them come out, because I kept thinking back and forth, do I want to keep them? Do I want to sell them? And so I never let people come look at him, and it's hard to sell things when you won't let people come look at it. So yeah, they're still in Oklahoma, and John is taking care of them. And it does make our heart kind of, besides the fact that we miss John, it's another reason for our hearts to feel a little bit torn between 2 places. Flying VS Farms. Hey Rebecca, I love watching your spinning. My mom and I spent the day at a historic house yesterday. She did her spinning and I got dressed over and over. Cool. Would you stay in Idaho for winter if you had what? Well, the reason we go home see, both places are home now. If we went to Oklahoma, if we didn't go back to Oklahoma in winter, we would never see John, because we're here in the summer and he's there. And so we're here for about 6 months, and then we go there for 6 months. And we're here for 6 months, and we're there for 6 months. Just because we don't deal very well with heat, and he doesn't deal very well with cold. So it's a weird situation, but we've been doing it for 3 years now, and it seems to work. And John always comes at least once, sometimes twice during the summer. This time he's flying in and then taking the rental car back. And the last summer he was here for 2 weeks. This time he'll be here for 3 or 4 days. And was it last summer? Yeah, last summer I went back. Would we stay here in the winter if we had a better place to live? I'm not afraid of staying here in the winter in our cabin. The floors get cold because they're uninsulated, so you wear socks or slippers or stuff like that. The rest of the house is very well insulated. The hardship with that is that in a tiny house, it's hard not to be able to go outside and spend most of your day outside. And if you have soggy, wet coats and things like that, it can be difficult to be in a tiny house when you can't open the windows, when you can't go outside to play a whole lot because it's really, really cold. That is tricky. It's not that it's not safe, it's just that it's tricky. But our house that's here on this property is a great house. It's just that we want to see John. By the time fall gets here, we really miss him. And so that's just when we go to home in Oklahoma instead of home in Idaho, if that makes sense. All right, if only your spouses could trade body temps, LOL, we are the opposite. Well, I don't know. John grew up loving boating. That was really his thing, and I grew up loving farming. That was my thing. And so he really likes warm places where you can boat a lot and do that kind of thing. And I love to be somewhere that it's really easy to play outside in the dirt. Samantha said the house looks cozy and I'm something. I missed it. I'm something. I'll have to watch and see if I can catch it when it comes back around. I need to start doing these premiere things so that people can actually tell when things are scheduled. Good evening. We are just now getting home from church. Wow, that's a long day for you guys. Yep, hence the name Dirtpatcheaven. I need to have a patch of dirt that I can just go plonk in and get my fingers into. Carlton Family Farm said, are you selling the house? John and I have talked about a lot of different things since I've been here. One of them is selling the house. One of them is renting it again, having somebody come and manage the Airbnb and have that be part of how they pay for rent. We've talked about moving back into the house ourselves. Let's see. Anita said, you can take the girl out of the country. I love farm life too. My honey, not so much. Exactly. Jeff said, thinking you could build a medium-sized aircrete house and make it something. And then the comment goes away. Dang it. And make the inside colder in the summer. Yes, that is true. This is our vicarious modern little house on the prairie, right? Tubular Guy said, that's why I live in Mobile and a mile from a huge lake, warm fishing. Yeah, it's about what is it, where are your values? What is it that really makes you happy? Now, it makes me happy to be with John, but I do get depressed over time with a lack of outdoorness. I get really frustrated and don't like myself very much when I don't have enough projects to keep me busy. And there are never enough projects to keep me busy unless I'm on a homestead. I need to do hard physical labor in order to feel well. So did you get both of them milked? Nope, dirty boots.
Can you bring the live show to strain the milk?
Do you need the milk strained?
Yes.
I thought you were just pouring it into the bottle.
Unless you want me to pour it into both bottles, so that it's pretty.
Well, that would just make a mess, wouldn't it? Do you just need another pan?
Yeah.
Did you melt both of them
No.
into the same pan? I would say fill up her bottle for tonight and then pour the rest into the cat bowl.
Okay.
And then I'll strain the second milking. Just don't spill it on the floor, okay? Because it makes kind of an oily mess. So when you take it back out to the cat, make sure it goes right into the cat bowl.
Okay.
It would be nice if you two could compromise and meet in the middle. We haven't really found anywhere. I guess like Utah is more mellow than Idaho, but we don't really like Utah. We like New Mexico a lot, but the thing is, there's a lot about where I am now on my particular homestead that's really nice for homesteading. Like, we don't have any ticks. There's 0 ticks. We have some spiders that can be a little bit big and scary, but they're not too bad. The horseflies come out after about 7:30 in the morning, but we're done with chores by then. We have mosquitoes at night, but generally we're in bed by the time they come out. We have surface water that we can apply to the pasture. We have the greenhouse, we have the hotbeds. I've got 18 inches of soil on top of my rocks out in my backyard where I did that deep mulch system. And so it's not, I think sometimes it's not necessarily about place for me as it is about how we have perfected the system that we already have here. And as I dig into it and as we harvest it, it's very difficult for me to think about leaving my dirt to somebody who's going to spray it with Roundup. Not realizing that the garlic out in my backyard is heirloom garlic. It's not grass. Everything in the back that looks like grass is actually garlic. And it's keeping voles away. And it's protecting the raspberry plants that it's planted under. It's protecting the garlic. And so somebody who really didn't understand what I had done, if they came into my property, specifically my backyard, they could destroy very quickly everything that I have done to make it self-propagating and fertile and abundant. Tubular Guy said, have you seen Darwin and Melanie? Yes, they came out this week, and we saw them this week. As we were like ships in the night, we kept not getting together, and then they just finally came out to see me. Once they're ready to do projects, I will go out and see them, but my dad has been able to help. That kind of thing. We just had so much work here to do that we've been talking on the phone, but not much else. TY folks, it's, oh, I can't read it. What kind of garlic is it? Regular or a garlic grass? It's regular garlic, and the bulbs get as big as a softball as long as you separate them out and make sure that you're not planting the whole bulb, that instead you're planting each clove, because when you plant the whole bulb, there's not enough room for them to mature. So you need to make sure that it's the individual clove that gets planted in October. Am I still live? Hey Shannon, how are you? No, it's not elephant garlic. Elephant garlic doesn't grow so well here. It's Russian garlic and Italian garlic, and most of it is hardneck because hardneck can handle our really deep temperatures. I think I've tried to plant some softneck garlic, but it doesn't really overwinter here very well. So I just have garlic everywhere, because the renters, they just have really busy lives. And so when it was time to harvest them in the fall and pull out the big, bulb, and you're supposed to section it off and then just put cloves in, instead they would just get really busy and they would leave the whole bulb in the ground, and then at that point the cloves and the bulbs get smaller because you run out of space, so they start to multiply and they're small. And what you have to do is in the fall pull up your bulbs, split them into individual cloves and put them in, and then you'll get the big bulbs. Do you have videos that show how you improved the soil? Yes. One of them is how to use a scythe to improve your pasture. Another one is me, it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I was in the backyard showing how I was planting the living fence and how I was putting down all the mulch. I don't remember what that one is called. But once this is up, maybe I'll see if I can go find them and link them. What has been on my homestead to-do list? I have been weeding. Our soil is amazing in the backyard, but we do have some plants that, even though they're good for bees, I have so many of them, I need to take some of them down to allow the big, beautiful fruit trees to have what they need. And so I'm doing quite a bit of weeding. I'm opening up and remaking hotbeds so that they're sturdier. What else have we done? I have been selling a lot of starts. In the last 3 days, we made $60 in just raspberry and Nanking cherry starts. So that's nice. It pays for the gas that goes into my pump, into my gas pump for water. Did I already say that? Let's see. So we've just kind of been doing a lot. We've been building new mobile cages for the goats so that instead of putting them on tethers, we can just move the fence. It's not electric, it's made out of cow panels. So I'll have to show you guys how to do that without T-posts. But there's a lot that I haven't been getting as well as I could. Okay, so I'm so sorry. Something about winter. I watched the living fence one, tried it here, but I have the wrong soil and moisture for what you did. So I had to improve that, and I had to work really, really hard. It took me 3 years to get that living fence to even think about living. And I have replanted it many, many times. Every year I go and I stick new little sticks in the ground in spots that didn't fill in right. And then I have to water it right, and I have to keep it small so that I can afford to water it and so that I can get enough fertilizer onto it. And I mulched with alfalfa hay. So as I had materials that needed to be used, it was one of the places I really focused until it got established. And that's really how permaculture is to find a spot and a place in your budget also that you can get supplies to help make it abundant. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's tweaking it, it's replanting it, it's planting it in a different spot, it's fertilizing with this, it's fertilizing with that, and just testing it until you find what works. Do I have any Nanking starts left? I do have some. And I'm about to cover them with compost. I should probably dig some out instead of just covering them with compost, because when I opened up the hotbed, there was so much compost that it filled 2 other hotbeds where I needed them to, and now I still have a bunch. And so I've been putting around my them around my fruit trees lately. And so roost out garden method, toss hay. Yes, and it works really well as long as you can get hay. It seems like anymore it's hard to get the raw materials because there's so many developments that come in, and again, the farmers are bought. They can sell their property for a lot of money, and I can't blame them for it. But it just means that the availability of hay is not really so great. Thanks, Tubular Guy. I appreciate you coming in. So that's pretty much what I can say about permaculture. After a few years, your soil gets built up. Cut your weeds before they go to seed and then use them as mulch. Okay, somebody just asked, did we decide not to get a homestead in Oklahoma? So that one is still up in the air because they still don't have a title. It's a manufactured home and they still don't have a title for it. And the work that I'm doing here needs to be finished before we can think about buying another home. And we weren't expecting it. We weren't expecting the renters to buy a home. But we were happy for them, but we just weren't expecting it. So that's why we had been buying the home in Oklahoma. Mr. Dirt is being funny. All right, so we got 6 minutes left. Any more questions? Make sure to put them in all caps, and I'll try really hard to get to all of them. If I didn't answer your question before, please put it up again. Yeah, if there's somebody saying nasty things, don't just delete what they're saying. You need to you need to delete them from the feed. What else is there? I am selling my drum carder. Sandra had expressed interest in it, but the thing is that my combs, my wool combs, fit so much better into my lifestyle of being able to move them instead of using a big drum carder. So that, I need to get a hold of Sandra and let her know what I want for that. But right now I'm just trying to downsize, always trying to downsize in a tiny house and only have the things that are most useful in many different ways. Can you go make sure that everybody has shelter real quick, and I will come do the milk? Okay?
Missy had very little milk.
Has she had water all day?
Not.
Uh-oh. That's why
And
she
I
wouldn't
gave
have any
her,
milk.
and I gave her a whole bunch.
Did you just give her water?
Yeah.
And you made sure it's far enough away that she can't tip it over?
Kaya took
Was
away
she
a bucket.
super thirsty?
Yeah, she
I-
was go.
So
go.
that's an issue. She can get founder and have stomach issues if she doesn't have water all day and then she drinks too much. So we have to be checking and making sure that they have water while the renters are gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I need to talk to Kaya about it because she.
Okay.
took
So
away.
is there anything else you need to do tonight?
Check shelters and.
Did you already feed the baby?
Kaya did.
Just now?
Yes. Well, she was holding it.
All right.
And I Kaya-
All right, guys, we got 4 minutes left. Corelle dish is easy to clean with less water. Corelle? I don't know what Corelle is. I should show you how this is turning out. It's two different kinds of reds. One is a very blue red, and one is a very orange red. So I don't know how well they're going to go together, but that's what it looks like right now. Let's see. Yeah, everybody needs water tonight. All right. So 4 minutes left. Any more questions? Oh, we do have that actually. The pans that we use in our sun oven are Corelle, if that's what you're talking about. Kind of the more traditional speckled blue type plates and stuff. We do like those. But what we use is just stuff we found at the secondhand store. We're super cheap. All right, I'm winding down. I look exhausted. I'm quite suddenly exhausted because I'm thinking of everything I have left that I need to do tonight before I can go to bed. I started out super high energy though, didn't you? Off-Grid said, what are you making, a dress or what? So what I've been doing lately is that I make the girls yarn for their dolls. They like to knit sweaters and diapers and socks and such for their dolls, and so that's who I give it to. Hey Michael R., how are you? Michael R. is an expert on the Mitt Lighter gardening system, so make sure to go check out his garden and his channel, because one of the things that inspired me in the hotbeds was the fact that Mitt Lighter gardens can be a soilless garden. And Michael has sent me a lot of fertilizer and other information on how to do the Mitt Lighter garden. One of the reasons I haven't been able to do it here yet is because we don't actually have soil. We have rocks. And I just haven't been able to try it yet. I have a friend down the road, LDS Prepper, and he's the one that I was able to go and see how his worked, and he did it in sawdust, and I felt like the vegetables were a little bit tasteless that way. But Michael R., he does it partially with soil, don't you, Michael? What do I use for fertilizer? Usually rabbit manure. Your kids are so well behaved and hardworking. Great, Mom. Thank you. It takes a lot of yelling. Interesting. All right, so I'm going to take off and go make sure that all the goats are taken care of. And if you're interested in ebooks or spinning wheels or anything like that, make sure to go check out our Etsy store. It should be in the description when I go out. Yeah, Mama Grow said the trolls are out tonight. Very true. Ecocentric said the title on the property is the legal registration. With the manufactured home, they don't know where it's been, and the previous owner died, and it's his descendants who are trying to find the title. And the reason there's a problem is because when he brought the manufactured home onto the property, he did not register it as part of the property. It's still listed with the DMV, and that's why there's an issue with it, is that he never went in to the DMV and said, I've now destroyed this vehicle, it is now a house. He never did that. So I'm going to go take care of kids, and thank you for popping in. I really appreciate it, and we will talk to you later.